Ever since we got the lease for this farm in October 2014, we've been doing lots of work on it, and you've heard me say many times the terrible state that it was in, the renovations that needed doing and the clearing that needed doing. Well, nothing represents that more probably than the house behind me. This is the old farm cottage and is now called the Ivy Centre. As you'll see on the video that's about to come, it was once covered in ivy and we were able to do it up, and it is now a conference centre. This is a little video showing some of the work that went on from the very early stages right through until last summer when it was completed. Back in October 2014, when we originally got the lease for the farm, the front garden of the property looked like this. The house was covered in ivy. In fact, it was even worse than that. You couldn't get to the front door. You needed kind of a machete to get down there. But we spent many weeks just clearing and cutting back and getting things out of. This is Jeffrey, the old farmer who used to live in the house, was born in the house. And then we started work on the inside, pulling out old lino and just clearing it up. Lifestyle documentary. This is Bev showing us.
We've taken the carpets up.
That makes it look better.
Nice floorboards. Right there. Here we go. Good. Oh! Where's the do?
What months are they?
Say it again, Jane.
1958. Friday, June the 4th, 1958. Wow.
So the whole place was in such a mess. People had been living in this just a few years ago, but since the farm had been derelict, it had been left empty. In fact, there's light coming in the windows now. They didn't used to be because the ivy just covered all the windows and it was so dark inside. This was the kitchen. That unit is now still in use. We've renovated it. And this is Elliot clearing up where the chimney used to be. Now this is when we actually started work on doing the renovations. There's Matt and Pete who did an amazing job. And I have to say here, with financial support from the Edward and Ivy Rose Hood Memorial Fund. Thank you, John and Steve. So this work went on for a number of months. It was so exciting. Every day we would go in and just see what had changed. New windows appearing, double glazed units which the property hadn't had before, knocking down walls, putting up new walls, taking out bits and pieces, putting in a new staircase, laying new floors. You can see there the depth of the floor. There was virtually nothing underneath it. It really didn't have much of a foundation, so I'm not quite sure how the house had stayed up for about 170 years. But once we started opening up the space and putting in new floor joists and getting rid of the lath and plaster, in fact a lot of it was reeds, not just lath and plaster, but work carried on, laying new floors, tying in roof timbers, it just became so much more solid and livable, and the space was really quite substantial. Materials were being delivered on a regular basis. Matt and Pete do work incredibly fast but incredibly accurately. It's a pleasure to have them working on any job. And in fact Graham, who works for Origins here, is a master with this machine. I love watching him in action. So building the new toilet over in that area, putting up new walls, dividing it up as we were. There's the start of the new staircase going in. Look at those new joists. That's a bit different to what they used to be. They didn't used to join up, some of them. Lots of tea, lots of coffee. That was one of my jobs every day, was to go in and put them down with their coffees. And then just the excitement of seeing things change. So this is the front after we'd cleared all the brambles and the ivy. There's some of the old beams. Not really very much, you wouldn't want to stand on those. And this is the one room in the house that hadn't changed until now, when we started knocking down walls. That's the old staircase which we've kept. And there's some of the reeds. What was weird about this particular wall was there was nothing behind it, apart from a fireplace, which fell down very easily. And there's Matt doing a brilliant job bricking up, putting the radiators in. That was quite a move. And then this bit downstairs, this was revising an old sort of bread oven. That's an old bit of wallpaper that we kept on the wall. You can just see there, we framed it, and it's still in existence now. And then new doors and windows, wonderful. Insulation. The house had been so cold. There's that framed bit of old wallpaper. And then going up on the roof, this was interesting. There were some great views up there. Putting up that long pipe to get the bricks and things down to remove the old chimney. What a difference. Some of the views were just great. I used to love going up there. But the brick, how did the brick that soft stay in place? Great system. It really was just exciting to see the space changing day by day. One of the highlights of the day, just going in there to see. And this was putting in a roof light over the stairs with nice views. And then towards the end, starting to paint it. Just looks so much better. Laying the carpets, laying the patio. It was a real team effort, but what a difference. And then it became the Ivy Centre. Now this is a quick tour around of how it is now. We kept that original entrance with the staircase behind it. That's the small room on the right hand side, which is a little breakout room for conferences. Lovely room to sit in. Views over towards the alpaca field. Kept the original fireplace. And the floor level is now a good few inches lower than it used to be because the foundations are in there properly. Thank you, Outro, for the walls and the flooring here. So this is the little kitchen. So it's self-contained, where you can make your own teas and coffees if you do want to hire the centre. And through out into the hallway by the back door with these iron handrails. Just wonderful, made by Sean, who made the entrance for the sensory garden. Little toilet, shower, wet room in there. The breeze is just blowing the pull cord around slightly. Again, Outro flooring and Outro walls. Lovely job. And then through from the back door, there's that bread oven that Matt was working on. Into the main room. This used to be about 4 rooms, now 1, and a really nice conference space with tables and chairs and an open fireplace, although there's radiators in there, it's just nice for an atmosphere. And we are open for bookings. Large telly which can be removed. And then up the stairs, this handrail was made by Matt, crafted out of one of the old joists. And then we kept some of the old floorboards over the entrance area with some of the antiquities that we'd found around the farm, an old milk churn there and a coal scuttle. That's the roof light that I mentioned. I almost fell down these stairs the first time they put that in because I was so unused to seeing a view. It was great. This is a small kitchen area upstairs, which we haven't quite finished yet. We've had some modifications going on when the central heating boiler was put in. So there's still a little bit of work going on in there. And then into the main room. So most of the rest of the upstairs is one space. And David is currently living in the upstairs here whilst we look at alternative accommodation, but this is he's made it into a nice bed set, really cosy. That's the fireplace that got moved from one side of the chimney to the other, but you can imagine this space as well possibly being let out or being offices or something. So really nice space, good lighting. That's the wall that Matt was redoing where it had the little fireplace in it. Brilliant job. You wouldn't even know that it's been changed and is now modernised. Lots of different kinds of lighting, but this is one of my favourites. LED going around the loft space just to add a little bit of ambience. It's great. Really effective, very simple but very effective. And then views over the farm. Perfect.